We are the authors of Can We
Agree to disagree?
Let's speak.
Communiquons, discutons, écrivons-nous.
As stated in your book, and to common knowledge in the French-American community, Americans are hyper-positive and the French are very direct. In your opinion, how does education in the two countries play into these cultural traits?
Yeah, I think this is a great question because education is certainly a big part of that. In the US, we realize it also to the education that we're seeing for our kids. There is always a lot of positive support and encouragement, and you would always start, maybe a nuanced remark with something positive.
It's important in the working place, for the Americans, really important for encouraging and to, even if you have a bad experience or a bad result, find the best way to get over it and find the best way to be constructive, to go ahead, to move on, to go to the next step, which is totally American.
Yeah, and that topic also echoes with our first topic, which was about the mindset, right? I think the Americans are sharp, concise, pragmatic, so the language is shorter, is more to the point. The French, also want to elaborate more, and they have a long history of codes where they have formalities that they deal with and that they inject into their emails, and it's important to know these.
For those of us who are in the French-American business world, we are very familiar with writing emails in French versus English. Most of us might prefer the English way as there are less pleasantries, etc. But do you see the pros in the French way of e-communicating?
I think this is a really important point. This is really crucial. Now everybody goes on emails, a lot of stuff goes even about messages, and this is true. I mean, American, we're really straight to the point. We're bullet points. We're not having paragraph, and we attempt to feel, for us, get the communication out. And in fact, it seems rude for the French to not asking how are they doing, how was your weekend. It's just, get the work done.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's a matter of how you define respect. I think in such a go culture where we need to answer the emails very fast, sometimes it can be a little bit too fast actually, not to put a single word about your consideration to the other person. So we're trying to not say that one attitude is better than the other. I think maybe the answer is in the middle. But just a word of caution about today's world and the pace. Sometimes it's actually good to step back a little bit and really look at the person as a person, not just a worker.
Do you believe in a balance or a single way of communicating that combines the two cultures that we can all adopt in order to be ideal communicators?
Go ahead.
I think so. Of course there is. I think, if you are have a little bit of empathy, if you're curious, if you're humble, you would quickly understand those differences through your experience, and maybe you can simplify a little bit the French way, and maybe Americans, you can be a little bit less pragmatic, less to the point.
Sure. I mean, I remember when I was listening to my French colleague, they were saying, oh my God, I have to make the email to my American colleague, and it's going to take me ages, to make the introduction, to be nice, to be kind, and then, and the email looks so long, and they just not, it's going to be for them super complicated because they're coming back to me with just one word. So I remember that experience. I remember that deeply.
Yeah. I think absolutely. I mean, the other thing is also about feedback, right? I think in my job as a manager, I made many people cry. I just forgot that I had to speak about the positive things, that happened in the year before, pointing all the issues and the areas of improvement. So definitely, thinking of what is positive and remembering that you need to, explicitly mention these elements too is certainly a nicer way to manage and to engage with people.
I have some remembering also when I arrived in France, and there was the whole meeting with the team and everything, and with the big boss, and the meeting didn't went as expected apparently, and the boss was really pointing finger. Who is the responsible? Who did that mistake? Who did that wrong? And I was for me it was a kind so bizarre and so offensive, because we are a team and we're defending our project, and there's probably something positive in that project. Not everything is wrong. So for me, it was really, I was really feeling, yeah, for me it was kind of rude about, you know, all that negativism and not even seeing something positive in the whole development.
Yeah. It's tricky. I think the French can learn this, and for Americans, maybe also when you're super positive, you always use the great, you know, it's all this question about the great and the good. If you really, you know, are using this type of semantics, and if you realize that you start to sugarcoat a little bit things, just nail them, you know, explain a little bit what you mean. I think it's important to French to be really able to understand what you put behind these words, whether they're the good or the great.